Hello, YouTube. Mm-mm-mm. Hello, Pipers. Pipers of the world unite. Um, hmm, what am I thinking about today? I'm Mookie. That is the cat. One of the cats scratching. Um, lathes, lathes. I am up to my eyeballs in lathe catalogues, specification, types, and I'm after a bit of advice, to be honest. And I'm probably going to be breaking some rules here. Specifically, I'm after a metalworking lathe, but I'm going to be cutting pipe blanks on it. And some may be asking, well, why don't you just get a wood turning lathe? And that's a fair question. And there are lots of reasons for this. One of the main reasons, I think, is that with a wood turning lathe, you've probably got a larger space on the bed for bigger objects. I'm never going to be turning anything the length of a table leg or chair leg or a spindle back or whatever it is, or anything of that size. So I don't need that capacity. The other thing is, I've mentioned before about coping with pain and things like that. I have an injury which affects my back and my both my arms, particularly my right arm. And the idea of having a tool rest with chisels on there that I have to support, and I have used a wood turning lathe many years ago. And I think it's quite a physical thing, or it can be quite a physical thing, because you're generally turning large objects. At that time, it was we were turning a wooden bowl, or I may have been spinning alloy as well, forming alloy, like an alloy cone against a wooden former on a kind of wood turning lathe. And it's quite a physical thing. You've got leverage and lots of forces involved there. So really, for me, a more compact metal turning lathe where I can also turn the stems, which I'll be using things like acrylic, lucite, Delrin, nylon, alloy, maybe a bit of brass. I'm probably never going to be turning anything in steel. Mookie! So I'm going down the sort of hobbyist route and looking for a fairly small lathe. And I think the question I have is that there are three main two main types, I guess, for the hobby lathes. You've got belt driven, and then you've got variable speed. I think a gearhead lathe is out of the question. I've looked at those. I would love one. I would love to have one, but I'm never going to use all of those features. I've used a gearhead lathe, a very big one, and I just don't need that for the purposes that I'm looking at. So kind of the hobbyist style lathes are what I'm looking at, but the two options that I seem to have are just a belt driven, so no circuit board, no variable speed apart from, you know, shifting the belt between the pulleys, or a variable speed option with a circuit board and more buttons and levers than you could ever imagine. And I'm just purely asking, given those kind of parameters and the size of objects that I'm going to be making, what to go for. And it's a minefield, really. And at this particular moment, I'm kind of thinking more about the belt driven. Keep it as simple as possible. No rev counter, no masses of buttons and all the rest of it, but just simply have the pulley system, you know, and a belt tensioner, and just keep it simple, really. So that was my thought, and I just have reached an impasse, I think they call it, where I can't decide. So I just wondered what other hobbyists, other pipe makers maybe out there, what you thought, any suggestions or ideas would be welcome. So I think that's where I'm coming from. So I will leave you in peace. Thank you.